Chicago cafe. The chefs are the best and the menus are so gourmet. The best cuisine on the scene is in Chicagoland, USA. Great chefs of Chicago. Great chefs of Chicago. World-class cooking, continental style. The recipe will make you linger a little while. Great chefs of Chicago.
Welcome to Great Chefs of Chicago, a television masterclass with chefs of some of the finest restaurants in the Chicago metropolitan area. This time from suburban Palatine, Les Titis de Paris and Chef Pierre Paula. Born on a farm in Normandy, Chef Paula intended to go into veterinary medicine, but at the rather advanced age, at least in France, of 19, switched to cooking. He cooked at Lucas Carton in Paris, the Westbury Hotel in London, and 2 Maximes in Paris and Madrid. In 1974, he moved to Chicago as executive chef at Les Titis de Paris. 4 years later, he bought the restaurant. Shortly after taking over, he hired Jean-Marc Lustono as pastry chef. Chef Lustono will prepare 2 desserts for this program. He was born near the Pyrenees in France and has also worked in Parisian restaurants, including Lucas Carton. Les Titis de Paris is one of a number of classy French restaurants that have opened in the northern suburbs of Chicago. Its star is definitely rising, and the menu for this show indicates why.
The pasta dough is flavored with spinach, which is blanched, cooled, and squeezed dry before processing.
And I want them to be cold, so I put them in ice. And those 3 ounces of spinach, they lose some water, so that should be 1.5 ounces. Strain them very well. No water, which will bring too much moisture to the noodles. They are hard to chop very well, so I will just add a little flour at the time.
The chef has added a little flour in order to facilitate chopping the spinach.
So you can see the spinach mixed to the flour, and they will be chopped like that, very fine. Which kind of flour? I have an all-purpose flour there. They don't need to be completely chopped, so that will be fine as that. I put my flour, 7 ounces of flour.
The pasta dough is started with 1 whole egg and 2 egg yolks.
Just a little bit of salt, maybe 1/4 teaspoon. Pepper. Teaspoon of olive oil. And they will form a ball.
While the pasta dough rests, Chef Paula begins the seafood mousse filling with 1 ounce each of fresh pike and shrimp. Note that he grinds the seafood before processing to achieve a smoother consistency.
Okay? You always need salt and pepper in order to make the mousse go together. So I put 1.5 teaspoons of salt, a dash of pepper, 1 egg. So you turn the pike for about 10 seconds with the shrimp, just to make sure they make a nice little they're very whipped. In case you don't use a meat grinder, do it a little more. They need to be very well cut. And add your cream slowly. First cup. And the mousse is ready. So I will do a square, about 14 by 8. It's not ready, it doesn't have to be exactly the size we say. Just make sure it doesn't get. I think I should be about 14 by 8 to make it look even. You cut the tips. Just make sure you spray evenly. Put less on that side. You will see why when you roll, like that, they don't come back. They don't go out of the pasta.
Rough chopped shrimp will be placed on the mousse.
And you put it about 2 rows of shrimp on the pasta. You can take a fork or you can take your spatula and just make sure they are inside the mousse. That when you roll, they don't make some air. And now you roll. Just a little one to begin with. Just keep the air out of the pasta. And why do I call it a sausage? It looks like a sausage. So I decided that was a sausage.
The pasta roll is wrapped in rinsed cheesecloth and simmered for 20 minutes in water. Let the roll rest before carving. This allows some of the moisture to run off.
And you can slice. Should be nice cold the next day if you want to serve a cold appetizer.
The pasta slices are served with a beurre blanc sauce with fresh chopped basil and tomato added, and is garnished with chopped chives and sautéed julienne of leek greens.
And really delicious.
The imposing entree is a real meat-eater's shindig. It features 3 different meat products in one dish: veal mousse, a whole filet of beef, and a boned saddle of lamb. Remove the backbone and as much fat as possible, or perhaps more realistically, ask the butcher to do it.
So from 7 pound, 5 to 7 pound lamb, we end up with just a few pounds. Put the first. One ounce of parsley, half a pound of veal, one egg, salt and pepper, and you add your cream slowly 1 cup of cream.
Process the mixture before adding heavy cream. Watch for the consistency that Chef Paula is after.
Clean around your bowl to make sure all the mousse is there. And another 10 seconds. Take nice hammer.
The saddle flaps are pounded to facilitate shaping the roast.
Make sure we should not have any cut here. But in case you have a cut here, just put a little bard that will help to keep the mousse inside.
These are sheets of fat available at most meat
And the bard
markets.
will melt in cooking. Some salt and pepper. And the mousse. Spray it all over. We put the 2 tenderloin in both sides where they should be. In order to make it even, we put 1 on that side, 1 on that side. The tenderloin, about 2 pounds of tenderloin, beef tenderloin, also with salt and pepper. And we put it back right in the middle between those 2 loins. In order to keep it together, I have a little remaining of mousse, which I will put around. And you close your lamb. Should fit perfectly there. Turn it around. In order to keep the beef and the mousse inside, you need some lard, about 3 ounces of lard, 5 if you want. And you cover the end part.
The roast is secured with string and roasted in a 400-degree oven for an hour or to medium rare.
We have a lamb ready to cook.
The backbone will be browned either in the oven or on top of the stove to begin the sauce.
You put when you have a nice color on your bones, it takes about 10 minutes. They should be well colored. Put your vegetable and also give them a color.
The aromatics are chopped carrot, onion, and celery.
Two, 3 minutes. They can take a nice dark color also, but all the vegetable, but not the shallot, not the garlic. Just before, when they are already brown, put your garlic. Don't burn it, it will give a bad taste to the sauce. The tomatoes. Bouquet garni. And at the last moment, 1 teaspoon of tomato paste.
The bouquet garni is fresh thyme, bay leaf, and parsley stems wrapped in a leek green.
There you need 1/3 of a cup of bourbon, 1 cup of red wine. I have chosen a brouilly, which is a nice body wine, about a cup. Reduce it about 2/3. Takes about 5 minutes to reduce, maybe 7, 8 minutes. About 3 cups of chicken stock. It can be when everything is 2/3 reduced, or 3 cups of beef stock or a veal stock, which is better, but the sauce will be stronger and the lamb already give a good taste. It will cover all the bones. You simmer for about 35 minutes, 40 minutes. When your lamb is cooked, that should be reduced enough to about 2 cups, and the sauce will be ready. Here we have our 24 remaining garlic cloves, which I will boil in just water. We'll leave it boiling 10 seconds and strain it.
The whole garlic cloves are blanched and drained 3 separate times before being sautéed in butter.
Just to take out the extra flavor in the garlic, which you don't really want. It will be just a mild taste on the garlic.
The sauce is strained, garlic cloves are added, and presentation begins.
Make sure it's not too hot, and you put your garlic on it. We will give a little sweetness to our garlic, and we will give it a nice little brown color. Just a sprinkle of a sugar powder. You have your lamb, the 2 loin, the beef tenderloin, and the 2 tenderloin of lamb. A few garlic cloves. It will make about 8 portions, so you have about 3 garlic cloves per person. Some zucchini. Fresh carrots. And you have a nice bouquet.
Pastry chef Jean-Marc Listono begins a progrès or cake with both dark and white chocolate mousses. Use a good quality of white chocolate and melt it slowly in whipping cream.
And I'm going to leave it here to melt it slowly, okay? I'm going to do the same with the dark chocolate.
Dark chocolate is also melted slowly in whipping cream.
And for the dark chocolate, I'm going to put 7 ounces of cream, a little bit more. Because the white chocolate always a tendency to be more liquid when you warm it up. And you let it melt slowly. What we have to do, you have to mix the almond in powder, the sugar, and just a little bit of flour. And you are going to see the egg white getting very hard.
The mousses will be spread on a progrès layer, which is a meringue-like mixture.
And you have to do it very slowly because you don't want to break the egg white.
The almond powder mixture is mixed with the sweetened beaten egg whites.
This is going to be the base of your cake. What you can use is a wax paper at the bottom.
Bake the progrès for 15 minutes at 350 degrees, then cool completely. The dark chocolate mousse layer is made by combining the melted chocolate with unsweetened whipped cream. Refrigerate at this stage for a half hour.
You pour your mix on the cake.
The white chocolate mousse is made the same way.
You have to mix very delicately this, because the white chocolate has always a tendency to break a little bit. And you pour the white chocolate on the top.
Refrigerate the completed cake 6 hours or preferably overnight.
I'm going to put it on a tray.
Shaved chocolate decorates the cake.
And I'm going to do the same with the white chocolate.
The pear souffle begins with halved, peeled, and cored pears. The pears are poached in 7 ounces water, 8 ounces sugar, and a teaspoon lemon juice for 10 minutes. Poached pears are pureed in a processor.
Okay, the puree is done. And I'm going to reduce the puree maybe for 5 minutes with nothing, just like this. You do like this.
Here's an easy way to coat buttered ramekins with sugar. Meanwhile, a syrup of 1 part water to 3 parts sugar with a little lemon juice is made. It will sweeten the pear puree.
Now be sure the sugar is really melt with the water. Now the sugar is ready, to be sure.
You can use a candy thermometer to recognize the hardball stage, 275 degrees.
See?
Or if you're a daredevil, try this test. The syrup is added to the puree.
I have to put some William alcohol with pear liquor. Small dice. This part is going to go inside the souffle, and the other one is going to serve a decoration to put on the top.
2 pear halves are reserved for garnish. Stiffly beaten sweetened egg whites are combined with the pear puree.
Really well mix it, okay? Okay, you can put a small slice of pear. You have to clean the edge of the souffle, like this, they're not going to stick, and they should rise very, very straight.
The soufflés go into a 375-degree oven for 10 to 15 minutes.
I think they are high enough. A little bit of ice sugar.
Chef Paula, Chef Jean-Marc, and Maitre d' Dominique Leger recommend a muscadet with the pasta roll, a gigondas with the lamb, zinfandel with the progrès, and a Riesling with the soufflé.
And now dinner is served. Join us next time for more cooking excitement. This menu compliments of Pierre Paula, another great chef of Chicago.
You'll always find them in Chicagoland. You'll learn all their tricks. You'll understand why eating is kicks in Chicagoland. Come wine and dine where love began. Great chefs, great food, great fun in Chicagoland. Yeah, get Chicagoland.